Our first guest today is the founder, creator, the artist of Latino Business Expo. Latino Business Expo is here in Ventura County. Of course, we're coming to you from Studio B here in Ventura County. But the Latino Business Expo, I've known about it for a few years, and I've been an active participant in it as well. But we have the founder of the expo, Adam Casillas. Adam, welcome.
Oh, good morning, Rodney. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. You know, I really like your expo. And the very first time I went to the Latino Business Expo, I'm going to be honest with you. Somebody told me it's a nice party to go to. There's a lot of food. There's some drinks. And so I didn't know what to expect. Tell us about the Latino Business Expo.
Well, first off, there's two of us. You know, my partner, Richard Ramos, is one of the guys behind the scenes also. But he's also my real estate broker. I am a realtor. So originally,
you're a realtor that's your profession.
Yes, sir.
How did you get into Expo and as a promoter?
Well, in 2007, we went to an event that was for realtors, a type of expo, and we're trying to grow our business. You know, get out and get networking. But when we showed up at the event, it was full of other realtors as vendors and lenders as vendors and title and escrow. It was a room full of
all
services,
the same businesses.
Of services that we already had locked in, and our competition. So with my background in food and beverage and hotels and organizing events, I told my broker that we should do our own. I can put a better event on.
Yeah. With
the contacts I have on my phone than what are in here. And fast forward, that was 2007, and we did our first expo, and it was at the Ventura 4 Points by Sheraton Hotel, where I had worked organizing events.
Oh, okay. So you're familiar with the venue.
Yeah, so I knew the venue, I knew everything. I'd seen setups, and I just said, you know, we can do this. And that's where the Latino Business Expo was born. It was in 2007 and on April. And I think it was April 19th. I can't remember the exact date. But it ended up being an event where I'd planned on working the booth exclusively for my only real estate company in the room and my lender next to me. It blew up to the point to where I couldn't even stand behind the booth. We ended up having about 1,200 people come through this room. We took over all the parking lots at the 4 Points by Sheraton, the harbor, the neighboring parking lot.
The inaugural event had that kind of turnout.
Yes, and it was in 2007 when, you know, economy was on its way down. Things were happening in the real estate industry, and everybody was telling me it's not going to be successful. But if anybody knows me, you know, you tell me you can't do it, I'm going to do it. And that comes from my upbringing. You know, my family, being the youngest of 11 kids. And, you know, growing up through the 60s and 70s and, you know, being more positive with the work ethic, you know, from my mom and dad, you know, you learn that.
Yeah.
And we did it, and we blew it out of the water. And here we are in 2022. We've received every award under the sun from anybody and everybody for events, for Latino Business Awards, from Congress, from local, you know, politicians, and everybody who wants to give us congratulations. You know, I wouldn't say hundreds, but we've received a lot of awards in the last 15 years.
A lot of accolades.
Yeah, but it's nothing better than seeing people that are still doing business with each other from our first expo.
Right.
That are still have a working relationship today.
Yeah, almost 15 years later.
Yeah, that's success.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And anybody who knows me, we've always been very fair. We helped out a lot of businesses that were struggling throughout the years, and they've been loyal to us. And I have vendors that have been in all 25 expos, every single one of them.
Now you have 2 a year, right?
2 a year. We do one in April and one in October.
Okay.
And we also do a Health and Wellness CBD Expo one a year. That'll be June this year.
And that is brand new. Now,
the second one.
Like you mentioned, the real estate Expo had a lot of real estate businesses, and there are other B2B type expos out there. But yours is specifically, I mean, it's in the name, Latino Business Expo. Why did you focus on just the Latino businesses?
Well, originally, when we did this in 2007, there really wasn't nothing out there for Latino networkers. You know, it was all chamber events. And, you know, no disrespect to the chamber, but, you know, you have to be a member to participate at a lot of their events.
And it cost a lot to be a member in some cases.
Yes, and you know, if you're networking and growing your business and reaching out to a chamber, it's almost a must to figure out and navigate the first year, see if it's something for you. If it's not, there's other networking groups out there. There's BNI. There's even nonprofits, service clubs. It's all networking. Everything's networking. So if you're trying to grow your business and you don't know a lot about business and you're still learning, it's good to be networking with people that do it for a living. And I became really good friends with a gentleman named Sean McCarthy, who was a director of BNI, Business Networking and International.
Right, BNI.
And he was one of the people that actually I looked up to, and I paid attention to what he was saying, because when he said it, it meant sense.
Why is networking so important for small businesses?
Well, people need to know who they're doing business with. I will do business with somebody that I like over somebody I don't like, even if the other person's product is better.
So creating relationships.
Yeah, building relationships is crucial to your success of being in business. If I don't like you, I'm not working with you. And if I don't know you, it's going to take time. So networking, you let people get to know you. You figure out who they are before you even meet them. I mean, some people have met on Zoom. We've been Zooming, even though events were shut down. We Zoomed for 2 years with my networking group, Expo networking group.
Yeah.
And people were doing business. We were still doing business. So when this roller coaster slowed down, we hit the ground running. You know, my Expo is April 28th, 2022, and I'm almost sold out already. Mm-hmm. You know, there's 15 spots left. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's a rough time for people wanting to do business. But if you have a business and the success of that business depends on you meeting and networking and getting new contacts, it's a no-brainer to be at my event.
I think networking is one of the most undervalued methods of marketing that people can do, and it costs you almost nothing, especially if you know where to go and when to be there. You have to do it as a small business.
Well, you know, you're always working. You know, I give a lot of support, not support, but credit to my wife, who tolerates me because I work all the time, and she knows that if the Expo word pops up, I'm talking. Yeah, I'm introducing myself. I'm helping people. I sell. That's what I do.
Yes.
I started selling produce door to door at the age of 9. Okay, so then I went to Los Angeles Times newspapers at the age of 11. And then I was throwing the paper for the Press Courier by 13. By 14 and 15, I was hustling and working grocery stores and not even on the payroll, working by tips. You know, that's the way I grew up. Earning is learning, and learning is earning, you know. And people don't understand that nowadays. That's one of the problems we have with the youth.
And you saw that from your parents.
Oh, yeah. Well, all of us. I learned it from my older brothers. Everybody was working. Everybody was hustling.
Right.
Everybody was, you know, you want something, go earn it.
You had to with that big of a family.
Hey, it's not rocket science. If people taught that to their kids nowadays, we wouldn't have a lot of the problems that we have. And I'm not no psychologist or nothing, but, you know, I was a bartender for 20 years.
You are a psychologist.
Yeah. So, but I think work ethic comes from family. And when people are concerned about their kids not wanting to work or do anything or get out of bed, that's their fault. That's the parents' fault.
Yeah.
I raised my kids differently.
Yeah.
I raised my kids about 60, 70% the way my parents raised me. And as you want it, you earn it. You lose it, it hurts you more than it hurts me.
Yeah.
You know, and when children or your kids understand the value of the dollar that they earned, it teaches them a lesson to be a little bit smarter and to take care of their things and respect them a little bit more. When you just keep giving the kids stuff, they don't care if something happens to it. They know you're going to give them another one. Not in my house. We didn't roll that way.
Good advice. We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more specifically about the Latino Business Expo and some of the businesses that have come and gone or still there with you throughout all these years. We'll be right back. So we're here with Adam, and we're talking the Latino Business Expo. It is, Adam, give us the dates of the expo.
The Latino Business Expo is April 28th, 2022 at the Ventura County Fairgrounds.
Nice. And so that's it really reaches a lot of people. People come in. It really is an event where there's a lot of fun going on. I mean, you go in there and it really is like a party atmosphere. You have just how did it develop to the style of show that it is?
Well, to be honest with you, it's my personality. The event is me. I've, the years that I worked in food and beverage, nightclubs, bartending, organizing events, having fun doing it, bring large family gather. I like to see people having fun, and there's nothing worse than going to a networking event where it's just all 100% business. It can be 100% business with a taste of fun.
Sure.
And that's when I brought in tequila sampling, beer sampling, wine, food, local restaurants, and to help support them. And they help. Of course, I can't get done what I want to do without their support as vendors. And as far as coming into my event right off the back, you're like, wow, okay. There's a little bit of music. Mm-hmm. There's a couple bars in there. Mm-hmm. There's some food sampling, some tequila sampling. Everybody's networking. There's no secret that something in your hand, whether it's alcoholic or not, helps relax you in a networking discussion in your commercial. This is old, one of the oldest, not trick, but one of the oldest skills in the book. There was more business done after work at the bar than at work.
Sure.
Because people were relaxed and they're having a good discussion. They're having a beverage.
A little uninhibited.
Yeah. And it loosens people up. When they see people having fun, it gives them the right to loosen up a little bit. You don't have to be all puckered up.
Sure.
Some people, relax, come in, have a good time, go have a taco or something, go have a shot, go visit Limon y Sal and see what they got. They always got something nice there, Go visit the tequila vendors. And if you don't drink, that's fine. There's Pepsi, there's water, there's other things there. And
these are craft tequila vendors that you have.
Yeah,
I know they're from the area in some cases.
Yes, they are. And for me, I'm not trying to promote it as an alcohol event because it's not.
Sure.
I got over 100 vendors. There's only 3 or 4 that are alcohol.
Sure.
Okay.
And they're just giving you small samples.
Yeah, and
so
it's just a sample. So it's just a little seasoning, for my event.
Sure.
Which to me opens up,
It's like the grease in the machine.
Exactly. I have something for everybody at my event. We have over 100 vendors, and I have, Clínicas, Camino del Real. They've been all 25 expos.
So those are clinics, and
you
have the port of Hueneme, which is a huge, and then you have the small little business, a small real estate or an insurance company, cleaning services.
You got it. Home-based businesses all the way to the major banks. I got about 7 banks that are participants, and everybody plays nice. I've never had a problem, never, in 25 expos, that never had any trouble with anybody. You always get, it might be too loud for some people, might not, could have been a little bit louder for, whatever. The one mistake I did one time is I brought in live entertainment.
Oh yeah, too loud, right?
Everybody complained about it being too loud when they walked, but they were the #1 mariachi in the Tri-Counties. And they played and they walked the room because they're all acoustic.
Sure.
So that was the first time I did that and the last. But other than that, I've never, I learn. We continue to learn. And even for this one, I'll be doing things differently than I've done on the last one. And this is 25, my 25th Latino Business Expo.
Now, this is the second show that you've done coming out of COVID. Obviously, during COVID, you had to pass on a few of you missed out on a few of the events. Your turnout was really good for that first show coming out of COVID. I suppose you're anticipating an even better crowd this time.
Oh yeah, we are. We had about 1,700 people show up for the expo in this past October.
And it's how long, hours wise?
It goes from 3 to 8. It's a
3 to 8.
5-hour event, and if you're a vendor and you're participating at it, you get more than just the expo. So I do mixers leading up. I call them mini mixers.
Mm-hmm.
So all the vendors are invited free of charge to come to those. That's part of the package. You know, if you're not a vendor, you're going to pay $10 at the door at the mixer. That's just money that I'm giving to the restaurant to who is
Sure.
there to, you know, if you know anything about food and beverage, all the restaurants right now are taking a hit on the cost of food, on proteins, and even their wares, their plastic to go, their bag, everything. Their prices have some of them gone up triple, and that's hard. So any monies that are collected at the door are going to go towards the staff in the restaurant.
And I like that you're using restaurants that are local owners, small, you know, in most cases, they have that one business and that's it.
Exactly.
And you're strategic around the county, so you have different mixers in different areas of the county.
Yes, I do. And I'll be putting those up shortly on our website that's LatinoExpoUSA.com. But one of the things that we do that is accomplished with these mixers is that you're doing business with people before the expo even pops.
Right, because of the mixers?
Because of the mixers. You meet new people. I introduce everybody I can. I'm walking. Have you seen me at my mixers?
I know how you work.
I work the room. I introduce people. I make connections. Connect the dots. And I don't let people sit around on a table. I make them get up, move. They don't come and sit down with the same people you drove here with. Networking is about meeting people you don't know.
I use your motto, by the way. What is it?
If you're not networking, you're not working.
Exactly.
Exactly. And so, like when I do these mixers, it's like a snowball effect. So, by the time the expo comes, if you are a new vendor, you've made some friends already. You don't feel like you're new because you met that vendor, you met them, and a lot of the people that come to the mixer are definitely at the expo, even if they're not vendors. So. It's all the process of building relationships, and that's what it is. Networking is building relationships, and I have a reference guide of about 1,000 contacts, at least. And when people call me and ask me, which people call me for everything and anything, I refer to my vendors. So all it takes for some vendors is one new contact, and they're doing business for 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, 2 years,
People have to look at the long-term value of that one client, that one new contact customer.
The most important part of networking is the introduction. It's how you meet. First chance you get when you meet somebody, you have to sell them on your personality. Sometimes you'll be able to build on it, but your elevator pitch, as they call it, your commercial introduction, how you present yourself. Don't just talk about you. Don't start handing people business cards unless they've asked you for it. Stuff like that, little things that people think, okay, this guy knows how to network a little bit. Yeah, he knows what's up. And one of the things I do is I don't discredit people that are learning how to network. I try to take them under my wing and teach them because they're here. They're trying. Somebody told them, hey, you need to network. They are trying to network.
Right. That was the first step, getting the booth. But I also have seen, one of the mistakes that people make when they go to any expo, they just sit there and they don't go anywhere. And don't just hire somebody to stand at your booth. It's better if you're the owner or the manager that you have a vested interest in that business because, again, you're selling you're selling your brand, and you need to get out of that seat and walk the room yourself.
I've seen it over and over. I've always said, make sure whoever's working the booth has some skin in the game. Give them some extra incentive to be there. If they are an hourly employee, that's fine, but make it worth their while. Hey, this is what you're going to get per lead. This is what you're going to get per this. And if you are sending an hourly employee, make sure it's your most personal, open employee that you have. somebody who likes to have fun, who enjoys going out and doing things, because they're the ones that are going to bring you the business.
Yeah.
They are. And, you know, I've seen it happen with two businesses in the same industry. One of them, the two people set, I'm not going to say who they are because they're still vendors. One of them sat down with employees that can care less, couldn't wait. This thing was over. The other one brought in a team of like assassins. They're like 13 dressed to the T, guys, girls, everything. And they ended up with about 29 new contracts. I can't tell you what it was because, and the other team did 2. So the owner of that company or the manager of those people told me they're probably not going to be able to participate. I said, well, you know what's funny you say that, because I took pictures so that, because I knew this was going to happen, because I know you. So here's your employees and here's your competition. My partner Richard had taken snapshots of both of them throughout the day. And the whole time those other 2 were sitting. The other group were working the crowd, were out in front of the table, out and about.
Collecting business cards instead of giving business cards. There is a difference.
But it's not those kids' fault that were at the table.
Yeah.
Okay, they're there, hey, you're going to pay me to sit at a table and hand out stuff, that's fine. But if you would have told those kids, hey, for every new, you're going to get $20 for every new contact.
Right.
Or every new contract that you get, there's going to be an additional this. Okay, well, wait, they might move the chairs away. But sitting down at my expo is the worst thing you can do. Yeah. You gotta work the table. You gotta be in front of your table sometimes, directing people to it. You gotta have a game. This oldest trick in the book is put some candy out. People like to come by for candy.
Table,
You want to see an example?
It sounds silly, but that's what they do. People like a nice piece of candy. Even just to walk around a mint or something.
You go to my wife's table. She works for Pacific Western Bank. They've been involved since the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, she's got games, she's got food, she's got giveaways, she's got everything. It's like Halloween for adults. It's okay.
It really is. Everybody gives out swag, and you can walk away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what they want. That's why they buy that stuff.
And that's how they remember you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why they buy the marketing tools and those materials, because they want you to go home and open it up and look at it and say, hey, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, contact them, or hey, you never know. There's business being done at my expo. The reason I know this is because 80% of my vendors are repeat vendors every expo.
Yep.
And if they're not at both of them, it's because one of them does the April event and then they do the October event. So I have different vendors that stick to once a year, but most of my vendors are every 6 months.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I always look forward to the Latino Business Expo, and I invite people whenever I can, just so that they can come and enjoy it. Even I have my brothers who are retired. I go, hey, come and check it out. Have a good time. And you know what? They know people who are there. And it's always surprising to me, right? Because one of my brothers doesn't even live in the area. Didn't live in the area for many years, but he shows up and he's walking. He's networking. So it's almost you have to. It's instilled in you to network. When we come back, I want to talk. I'd be remiss not to mention cannabis and CBD, because this is a cannabis show. You have a CBD show that you just started a couple of years ago. You had your first event. We want to talk about that. So when we come back, I want you to share with our audience your CBD show and how it came to be that you started that kind of expo.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we'll be right back. We're going to have a few words from EcoMeds and maybe even a word from Flower Fest. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Rodney Medina, your host, and we are talking plant with Adam Casillas from the Latino Business Expo, which is an incredible expo that we have here in Ventura County. If you're in this area, please come and support Adam, but more importantly, support the Latino businesses. You know, here on Talking Plant, we're a big proponent of Latino-owned businesses, woman-owned businesses, and this being International Women's Month, we definitely want to celebrate that. And you have a lot of women-owned businesses there at the Latino Business Expo, huh? Right?
Yes, we do. A lot. And several of them are extremely successful. And they've given credit to a program called WEAVE, Women's Economic Development. And I believe they're out of Santa Barbara. And they help coach. They don't just take care of women; they'll take care of men also. But it's originally started with just women, and just Google it, WEV, weave, and you'll
Weave.
learn a lot about it. A lot of opportunities there for women.
Excellent. It's always good to see the women there at in charge of their own business, owning their own businesses, and actually a lot of times they do better than the men at the networking. So hey, guys, you can learn a lot from the women, and it's not even just because they have a pretty face; they know what the hell they're doing. They're collecting data, and they're selling their brand. So I want to also talk about your CBD Expo, which is something you started. You've had 2 shows of your CBD?
Well, no, we've had one, and
okay.
it was 2 years ago. November was the first, and
That's right. The second was canceled because of
yeah,
COVID.
we
So
had to cancel.
how did you come to start a CBD Expo?
Well, a lot of my vendors and friends that I utilize in the CBD industry, they knew that I did expos, the Latino Business Expo, and people would ask me, "Hey, why don't you do a CBD health and wellness CBD Expo?"
Now, this was when you say people you knew, personal
Vendors.
use? Oh, vendors.
Vendors
Okay.
and people that I use.
Were they already going to the Latino Business Expo?
Yeah,
some
like
of these?
one of my favorite. So I use CBDs. I use CBD hemp 100% from 101 CBD.
Okay,
And
Justin.
Justin,
Right.
And he's
Good stuff.
He's good stuff. Is my favorite. But I also use CBD that I purchased from the Wheelhouse Dispensary that has the cannabis in it too.
THC.
THC 1-to-1. And if anybody knows anything about CBD, and as you get older, you get aches and pains and sleep issues. I can't live without it. There's no lingering effects. There's nothing, no drowsiness or headaches. I take a dropper of CBD. I lay down 20 minutes. I'm asleep, and I sleep solid 6 to 7 hours.
So you were a patient before you were a promoter.
Exactly. So it's proof is always in the pudding, as they say.
Yeah.
I find something I like that makes me feel better, and I'll use it. I talk about it. So why not do an expo about it? So it started off, it's called the CBD Health and Wellness Expo. So now it's the Health and Wellness Expo with CBD vendors because of legalities and other people and stuff like
the
that.
stigma attached to it.
Exactly. So we ended up with 60 vendors, and it was well mixed with the CBD cannabis companies that were promoting their CBD products, health and wellness, chiropractic. Of course, there was a tequila vendor there for therapeutic purposes.
Of course.
And if there's an event that I have, there's going to be tequila.
Was it organic?
Organic.
Oh, okay,
All
of
natural.
course. See, there
All
you go.
natural. So
He made the cut.
exactly. So we ended up doing it, and we had a great, successful turnout.
Yeah.
And this year's is June. It's going to be June 11th at the Ventura County Fairgrounds in the San Miguel room, one of the Kwanzaa huts. And it just so happens there's a tattoo expo that's going to be next door.
Oh, nice.
So we're expecting a great turnout. We're gonna cross promote. The promoter from the tattoo expo at the fairgrounds contacted me about cross promoting and helping each other out. And I said, absolutely. That's networking. That's what I do.
That is.
That's what I do. So we're expecting a very good turnout for this event. We do. If there's anybody listening out there that is interested in being a vendor at this, that's in the CBD industry, health and wellness, contact me.
And what's great about CBD is that you don't have to be like a dispenser. You have to be from the area because you're selling only within this, your business area like Ventura County. But CBD you can ship anywhere. So you could come from the Bay Area, San Diego, LA, participate in this and hit a whole new market.
Absolutely. There's nothing illegal about it. It's and the fact that there's still issues with trying to get the products with THC over the counter sold like that is just dumbfounding. I never understand it. You can buy a bottle of tequila at the store, but you can't buy CBD with cannabis in it without going to a dispensary. I'm just
right.
The dispensaries probably appreciate that you have to go to them anyway. So, but for me, if the product works and helps me, I use it every day. Yeah. So there was a no-brainer to put an event on promoting something that I use and like. And I definitely learned a lot about it. And not only that, but I dabble a little bit with farming myself. I like to play around. I grow it. I don't really like to smoke it, but I do give it away. But I do prefer an edible here and there. I'll smoke a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But all my friends and my kids, people around me, everybody smokes it. So I'm a farmer. grower.
Farming and even growing cannabis specifically is very therapeutic in its own right.
Yes, sir. I got about 30 different chili plants and about 3 different cannabis plants and fruit trees and this and that, and I hang out in the yard with them.
So you added cannabis to your repertoire.
Yeah, for the last 3 years. Yep, the last 3 years I've been growing. And
see, I did the opposite. They say that cannabis is a gateway drug. It certainly is, because I started growing some cannabis plants, and I started looking around the garden. There's a lot of dirt. I also grow some tomatoes over there, some squash over there, some chilies over there.
Yeah, you've been to my house. You saw the planters I started building.
Yeah.
So get it above ground. Yeah. So I got blackberries, strawberries, fish chili peppers, habaneros, the hottest chilies on the planet I'm growing in my backyard, and along with some cannabis.
Well, I think that's something that you've grasped that is important for people to know, is that cannabis and CBD, it's a very therapeutic, it's a compassionate plant. It's something that draws you close to nature. It is of this earth, and you start to really appreciate it whenever you understand that. One of the first things I really enjoyed about attending the CBD Expo is that it's a learning experience for people, because all of the booths, they're really, more than any other type of business, cannabis people have to teach the consumers about the product, whether it's cannabis or CBD. I had the honor of giving a presentation about the history of hemp cannabis. So I slid in some cannabis knowledge there, but it really is an educational experience. So anybody who wants to learn more about it should go to this event.
What I liked is that pretty much every booth had the owner behind it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest questions for a lot of people with the CBD and other products from CBD or hemp or cannabis were, will they fail a drug test if they take it? And it's a legitimate question.
Sure.
There some jobs it's zero tolerance, and you need to do your research if your job requires it, and you need to make sure, don't always settle for just the person over the counter. Say, hey, I want to speak to a manager.
Sure.
I have some serious questions. I want to use the product, but I want to make sure that I'm going to have my job.
Yeah, and those CBD business owners have to be responsible as well. When people ask me about, can I take it? What do? I work for the government. I say, nope, don't take it. There's traces of THC in there. And I don't want to be responsible for something that gets you in trouble. Everybody's body's different. Who knows? They might take CBD gummies with small amounts of THC, and now your liver's going to process it differently. It's going to explode in your body. Not explode, but it's going to
the levels.
Yeah, the levels are going to increase on your body, and it wouldn't on mine. So I always tell anybody who works for the government, or you're a driver, a bus driver, don't do it. The teachers can't smoke.
It's not worth it.
Technically, it's not worth it. I mean, it's your livelihood. So those are the types of things those are questions that people can ask at the CBD Expo. And I really, really encourage anybody, if you have questions or you're looking to use CBD for its health benefits, come out to the CBD Expo. When is it, Adam?
June 11th, 2022 at the Ventura County Fairgrounds.
Do you have a website there for that as well?
That'll be accessible through my regular website, LatinoExpoUSA.com.
Right.
Also, if anybody ever wanted to reach me, they can give me a direct call. They like at 805-216-1927.
And that phone rings in your pocket
all the time.
All right.
That's my direct contact.
Well,
it's out there. Don't put information out there if you don't want people to call you.
Sure.
And my phone number is everywhere, so I don't mind.
Well, it's always good to run into you everywhere. I was out at a restaurant this weekend. I knew I would see you there. I had this sneaky suspicion I would see you there. But I love seeing you everywhere. I always see you selling your brand. You're always wearing your Expo shirt, your Expo hat. So nobody can say that you are not connected to the Latino Business Expo. But even more importantly, Adam, I want to thank you for the work you do for Latino businesses, for women-owned businesses. Nothing is greater to see than when you go to your expo and you see everybody there, our gente there, doing business. You see the gabachos there too, but it's a good mix.
Everybody.
It's for everybody. But I love seeing the Latinos there. It has that flair, it has that excitement, the tequila, the music. It's not too loud. You can still network. but I want to thank you for that work you do for the Latinos in this area, because we all know it's more difficult for us to make a business successful. So I think you do a fantastic job doing that.
Well, I think we've come a long way, and we're doing a great job locally in Ventura County. If you know, one of the things I'll wrap up with here is that the main reason that the Expo grew the way it did was because I was constantly working on bridging the gap between the Anglo businesses, Mexican businesses, anybody who wanted to do business. I was there to make the introduction. I was there to bring them together. And I think my event speaks for itself. Everybody plays nice in my sandbox. Simple as that. There's no bad feeling. You don't feel like you don't belong there. You don't feel like, oh man, what did I do? No. Everybody has fun.
Yeah.
It's a good time. They're making money. They're doing business. And they're networking, building relationships.
And your booths are affordable. I know you. This was the first year you changed the price after all these years. Yep. But man, if you're in business in Ventura County, this is to me, it's one of the must go tos and must participate in order to reach a new sector of business here in the area. If you're missing it, you're missing a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to network. If you're not networking, you're not working.
All right, Adam. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us, sharing your story about Expo and the hard work ethic that it took you to get here. And congratulations, and I will see you at the show.
Thank you, sir.